Hey,
Good,
everyone.
good day.
Yeah. Good morning, Stephanie. Looks like we've got Tanya on. Hey, Tanya, how are you? Go ahead and say hi in the chat. We will, let me get my chat up here. We'll go ahead and get going. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Burnout to Bliss. I know most of you, Tanya, I'm going to meet you here in a little bit, which is amazing. I'm in Mitchell visiting my parents right now. Let me just, what I want to do, and Stephanie, I know you're kind of versed up on this. I'm not sure who's coming in from iPhone, but I know you've been with us before, so you kind of know what's going on. But um, a while ago, that's fine, Tanya. You can hear us, right, Tanya? I want to just make sure you can hear us. Just give me a yes. Okay, great. All right, good deal. So if you guys want to just continue to let people in, that would be great. Courtney, I think I just asked you to mute. I did not mean to do that. Um, okay, so Burnout to Bliss. Here is the story with the space that we're holding here right now. A while ago, we started going started noticing, especially through COVID and like post-COVID, that, people were stressed out. People were burnt out. They were stuck. Because there's a lot going on. Our whole world has completely changed. And so we put together this Burnout to Bliss. It's 2 times a month. It's free. It's a separate Zoom link. It's a place to come and just kind of reset, right? It's a place to come when you're like, oh my God, I'm sick and tired of it all, and you want to hand it in and give it up and all the stuff that happens. And how many of us, raise your hand, sometimes feel like we have to do that on our own? Like, right? Like you feel like, okay, I'm just going to go over here and lick my wounds. I'm going to go over here and hide and be in solitude for a while and all that kind of stuff. And what that does sometimes is it gets us deeper into wherever it is that we're at. So we wanted to create space where we could come and just talk about good stuff. And no matter where you're at or how you're showing up here, literally the idea is that in 1 hour you walk away refreshed, recharged. Oh my God, I'm not on my own. I don't have to do this on my own. I do have a community of people. I do have a tribe of people that will support me when I'm not at my best. And that's really, for me and my journey, what it's been about. I was really good at being a lone wolf. Anybody else good at being a lone wolf? I was really good at being I need to raise my toes too. And that's not fun, right? We're human. We thrive on community, we thrive on collaboration, we thrive on being together and working together and being in it together. And it just feels better. And so we wanted to hold space a couple of times a month where people could show up and just reset, ask questions, find out what's going on, and all that stuff. So that's where we're at. So thank you for being here. We're gonna do a couple of things today. I get to talk to Courtney, my daughter, about this heal retreat that we've been gearing up for. I just got back from there. She's in Florida, been there for a week. Getting ready for that. And then we get to Rima's here. And we get to have a little bit of an update on Maui. The last time we were, I know, right? It's like the last time we were together, Rima brought a couple of friends and they really talked to us about what was really happening in Maui, because there's all kinds of conspiracy theories that actually came up this weekend. All kinds of, people think that they know what's going on, and Rima is literally right there, boots on ground, supporting like in the moment. Standing in line every day at Costco for hours, grabbing supplies and then taking them to where they need to go. So we're going to get an update from her as well. So the first thing, here's what I want you guys to do. I want a scale of 1 to 10. When you showed up here today, where are you at? 1 means I'm in the tank. I'm stuck. I don't know how to get out. I'm just feeling it. I just knew that I needed to show up somewhere. And if you're a 1, I'm celebrating you all day long because you showed up to get support. And if you're a 10, Megan 5, I love it. If you're a 10, you're like, no, I'm on fire. I'm ready to go. Like, let's go. Woo. Give me a scale of 1 to 10 of where you're at right now in this moment. Tanya, 6. Okay. Where are you guys at? 6, 8. Okay. Amazing. 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 Why do you think I asked that question? Stephanie, why do I ask that question? Oh, can't hear you. It says that you're off mute, though. That's weird. Why do I ask that question? To gauge the mindset. Yeah, to gauge where you're at, to gauge how we can best support you in the moment. How many of us grew up thinking that I got to put on this happy face, pretend like everything's fine, and just show up. And then when we do that, we're not showing up in our authentic self. So I honor you for not saying 10, because a lot of times it's like 10. No, I'm a 10. No, really, I'm a 10. Honest, I'm a 10, when you're not really feeling that. And so the idea of reset, the idea of burnout to bliss, the idea of the transformational work that we're talking about is really just being super aware. Kelly's here, about being super aware of when you're stuck, right? When we're aware that we're a 1, when we're aware that we're stuck and we're in it, we can then figure out a tool to pull out. For me, I didn't know what those tools were my whole life. And so the beauty of it all, hey, Kelly, the beauty of it all is that when you have the tools, right? When you know the tools, it's like, okay, I'm aware that I'm stuck right now. I'm aware that I'm showing up grumpy. I'm aware that I'm showing up mad. I'm aware that I'm showing up, in my shit. But awareness is the whole thing, because when I'm aware of it, now I can choose different. I can choose something different. And so that's really why we hold these spaces. It's why the Burnout to Bliss is for an hour. It's why I was in Florida last week with Courtney planning our heal retreat, because I know that when I showed up in spaces that were meant for transformation, where people were actually holding space for me, it's when I grew the most. It's when I transformed the most, because I was intentional about it. I had a community that was supporting me. I had coaches, whatever that looked like. So I honor each one of you for being here today, for sure. Kelly and Stephanie, I got to tell you that when I sent that email out, reply I'm in, I was going to give away one, and you guys both responded and you both showed up. So I'm giving you each one of them. You each win one of those coaching sessions. So each of you get, yes, each of you get. So I'll be in contact with you. We get to get on a phone call. I was like, are you loser or is that a winner? Right? So yeah, we get to get on a call. I'm gifting you guys with a strategy call, right? And the strategy call is just time and space. Where are you at? How can I support? What does that look like? And just really pouring into you guys. So just know that that's out there, and we're going to do that. So that's fun. So I would love to bring Courtney up, because I want to talk about last week, Courtney. I was there for a whole week. I showed up with a massive migraine. And I got to tell you that the best thing about adult kids is that they like take care of you. It's really amazing. Prima, I know you have adult kids, right? Kelly, you have adult kids. Like adult kids, they grow up and they start taking care of you. And it's just the most magical thing that's ever happened. So Courtney was gracious with me and took care of me. And I finally felt better. And we were able to like dig in. And I'm going to let Courtney tell you the big news about what's going on the land with the chickens. So Courtney, would you like to talk about the chickens right now?
They always get center stage. I love it.
They get center stage.
The girls. They started laying eggs this week, so we have eggs now. Yeah.
So
One a
these are
day
your
right
own
now.
personal chickens, Courtney?
Yes. Yep. They got offered to the motherland when they were, I want to say like 4 days old. So we've had them, I think, I don't even know the exact date, but it's been about 6 months now that we've been taking care of them, and they're laying eggs. So, and it's part of the kind of the farm to table experience as well, because I've never had a fresh, like that fresh of an egg before. I don't know if you guys have, but I'm sure it's quite the experience. I'm waiting to have them with Jenna and the kids. I can't like experience it alone. I want to have them experience it too.
Because now there's been 2 eggs. So then they laid 1 a day. So we're waiting to see if there's 1 today. But those chickens,
4.
those 6 chickens came in like a little, you know how like when you buy a 12 pack or like a 6-pack of something, like a 6-pack of beer, and it has it came in like a section like that without, did it have the sections? I can't remember, but it came in this little cardboard box with 6 little chickies. And it was really, really amazing. So we've been watching them. Yeah. We've been watching them grow up. Part of the heal retreat, like, because we were really gearing up for the retreat while we were down there. But part of that is literally what Courtney said, farm to table. Like the ultimate long-term vision is that that the land is self-sustainable. And I mean, goats are next, right? Goats are next. Horses maybe someday. I don't know, all the animals and stuff like that. So Courtney, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the land and kind of the sacredness of it, or just, what we're kind of planning with the retreat.
Yeah, I'll start with the land too, just because the chickens and everything. We've taken care. It's like our love and our unconditional love has been creating the space and the land, but it's the land that gives back. I don't know if you can hear the lawn mowing at all, so let me know if that's
We can't.
interfering at all. But I couldn't even go inside today. I wanted, to be at my desk and to do my desk work, and I brought all of my stuff outside because I just couldn't spend like a second inside today. So, going and every once in a while I'll hear the girls, the chickens, and when they lay an egg, they want everyone to know. So they yell and they scream, we laid one, come get it. They get really excited. So the joy of that in the mornings and taking care of the chickens and the gardens, and we had bees and we did lose the bees. So the land teaches us, a lot of that joy, but I've also gone through devastation. Many of us have gone through devastation. So we know when that, those extremes of like excitedness and joy, and then you hit that kind of devastation. But what the land's taught me is to kind of bounce back and be resilient and to build again, and we always say, we cry by the blueberry patch, we let it out, we, feel our feelings, but then we get back up and grab the tools or, go in the garden and just start digging, ground back with Mother Earth and know that it's natural, to go through these things. So having that experience, anyone that comes here, especially for these retreats, when the intention is focused on you when you get here, the land, it's amazing how Mother Earth in general just takes care of us. But the encounters with we have herons, we have resident turtles in the pond, there's fish that like to eat and get fed, and just that relationship that you give and get back from just being here, just that purely and alone, I believe is very healing in and of itself. And so the support kind of that really inspired me, even with what you do, Mom, with all of us needing that healing, especially as healers. She's kind of the healer of healers. You come here and you walk in the door, or you come outside, and it's just that instant receiving. And when we're kind of caught up in the matrix or caught up in our day-to-day, or like taking the kids to school, or going into Costco and giving and putting all of our energy into taking care of the household, taking care of our community, it's a really good the retreat, or it's a really good space to kind of come back into your own, even if you're stubborn, or like when you came here last week and you were really sick. You can't get over sickness by willing it away. You have to nurture yourself. You have to take care of yourself with, you have to receive. So it's not always easy for people to receive. And so I see time and time again, when we're doing these retreats and we're working with people, we can talk about leadership all day. We can talk about our mental state, our emotional state, even our spiritual state. But the land doesn't. I'm going to be a little crude, but she doesn't care necessarily about all the day-to-day hustle and bustle stuff, or like what new bag you got, or any of that stuff. This is a place where you can just be quiet, or you can scream, you can cry. I like to drum. I come out here, and if I'm just feeling kind of stuck, I come out and I just start drumming. It's a place that doesn't judge how you show up, or who you are when you show up. So it's refreshing to be here. When I go back out into, I call it the matrix, go back out into the community and I express these things. A lot of people have chickens, a lot of people have gardens and everything. But what the motherland has not only taught me, but I've heard time and time again, is she makes you be conscious of what you're doing, of the daily kind of that consistency, not just kind of going and growing cucumbers. It's sitting with them, it's singing to them, it's thanking them for the love and the nutrients that are giving back. So this land is constantly consistent with pure love and giving that and receiving it. And I just kind of want to speak to the magic as well, because I don't always speak to that magic. Because again, there's chickens and there's goats and horses and farms, but the magic of the motherland is something that is It's hard to express in words, but once you step onto the grounds and step onto the land, you kind of know why you were being called to it. You kind of know why we call it heal, because you just intrinsically you heal. So yeah, I wanted to make sure we talked about the magic too.
Yeah, I love that. And I think, here's for my own growth, and what I would ask you guys is here's what I'm going to put it in the chat. I actually had typed it out. What's your reset? What's your go-to tool? Because it's really, really important to know that and to understand that, whether it's going to a specific place, whether it's, just meditating, it might be walking, it might be running or whatever it is, but the world is really, really busy and noisy right now. And when we let ourselves get caught up in that, we don't take care of ourselves. We don't allow our own self to heal because we're so caught up in the rat race and go, 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 go. And so whether it's this hour right now, whether it's a heal retreat, whether it's a different retreat, whether it's going to your backyard, whether it's going to the local mountain to take a hike, whatever it is, like, what's your reset? Know your reset. My poor husband, I need to vent things out. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Venting it out. I mean, who's your go-to? Like that, I call that Tanya calling a friend, like phone a friend. Don't sit there and be mad at the world on your own. You're just sitting in your own dirty diaper when we do that, right? And I'm super guilty of that sometimes. But so when we're aware of it, like I'm stuck right now, like I'm really stuck. I'm in a funk. I don't know how to get out of it. The quicker you get out of that, the quicker you reset yourself, the quicker you get back into your vision, right? The quicker you get back into what's working in your life, the quicker you get back into feeling more whole. And so snuggling with your dog, writing in your journal. Yeah, I love that. Reset tool, currently quick air break over lunch. Love it, Stephanie. Yeah, knowing what that is really important because so Kelly, you get to create one, right? You get to create one. That's what we'll talk about on the call. Like you get to create one and be aware of it. For me, it's going and taking a hot bath and meditating, right? And sometimes if I'm having a really bad day, it might be 2 or 3 times. And that's okay. I let go of the shame. I literally have people say, "Oh my God, what's your water bill?" I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's what resets me, So knowing what it is that resets you is the very first step to being able to get out of your own, it's easy to sit. I call it a shitty diaper. I don't remember I think Karen Stelz actually started that, right? But we have a choice. We can sit there and sit in our own shitty diaper. And sometimes that feels good, but it's toxic and it doesn't work for us. So what's your reset tool that says, you know what, I'm aware right now that I'm stuck and I'm not going to beat myself up over it. I'm not going to go into blame or shame. I'm just going to reset. I'm just going to get unstuck. I'm just going to move forward. A quick prayer. Yeah, meditation, prayer, any of that. Close your eyes and pray. And it's really just letting go of what's got you right now in whatever way that looks like. And so what we do at the heal retreat, like it's literally 3 days. So there's, transformation is a process. So you literally come on to everything that Courtney talked about these sacred grounds that automatically heal you without even really having to do anything. But then we walk you through a bunch of really sacred stuff and teach you a bunch of tools that you get to take back so that doesn't happen. And it's the only place I was ever able to learn those kinds of things. So whatever it is, it might be a retreat, it might be hiking, it might be going for a walk, it might be prayer, it might be closing your eyes, it might be meditation, it might be phoning a friend. There's all kinds of different ways. The important thing is that you're like, okay, I'm in it. Even if you call me, Megan could call me today and say, Tina, I'm in it. Great, let's dig in. What's up? Right? Like phone somebody and let them know that you're in it. I'm in it and I need to vent for 5 minutes. Okay, setting my watch 5 minutes. So Tanya, the thing about the venting thing is it like there gets to be a time limit on it, right? Like let me vent for 5 minutes and then I'm going to go take a shower and I'm going to let it go, right? Let me do this for this, like put a time limit on it so that you're not just staying in that toxic, because when that toxic has you, it's got you. It has power. It has control over you. So this is about you taking your life back. It's about you taking like, no, this is what works for me. This is what I need. This is what I want. And really getting the support that you need to actually move forward with it. Laughter, yoga. I love that, Rima. Yes. Rima and I and laughter. I love it. Yeah, different things work at different times. It's why I call it a toolbox, a tool belt. What's in your tool belt right now? Sometimes meditation. Sometimes I call Courtney. Sometimes I talk to my husband. Sometimes I go take a bath, right? Like you got to know what works based on what's going on. But the awareness piece comes first. So part of the work that we do at the retreat is getting clarity, right? Like, let's get clarity over what you really want, because are your actions following what it is that you really want? Sometimes we're just going through the motions and we're living life. Anybody feel that, based on what somebody else says we should do, or based on what we think we should do, or, and like, it's about putting that stake in the ground and going, nope, no more. You don't got me anymore. I get to take control of this. I get to take control of my life, and you don't have to have all the answers. That's why we create this space, because I didn't have all the answers. I still don't have all the answers. That's why I'll never go without a coach. I will always have a coach, because that's what creates the answer. That's what gets us to what's working versus what's not working. So yeah, I'm really excited, Stephanie and Kelly, to dig into those conversations with you, because it really matters. It makes a difference. So tell me, give me in the chat what comes up for you. So when I go there about knowing what your reset tool is, like, what comes up for you? Hey, Jennifer, what comes up for you?
Hello.
Put it in the chat or come off mute. Does it feel easy? Does it feel hard? Are you like, I'm still searching for the answer? Like, what's really coming up for you? Does it feel scary? Sometimes it feels scary, right? And that's why we turn the other way and don't do the work, because we're scared, instead of just going in and actually doing the work. So I'd love to know what comes up for you when we go there. I'm letting Ashley back in. What comes up? Does it feel scary? Does it feel like you're alone? Does it feel like what? Like, this is where you get to practice vulnerability. Like, for me, I'll go first, and then I want you guys to really either come off mute or put it in the chat. But for me, in those moments, it's a worthy thing for me, right? I go to my own worth. So I don't want to bug anybody, right? So I'm feeling it. I don't want to call a friend because I don't want to bother anybody. I can work through this on my own, and I talk myself out of the support that's sitting right there in front of me. Sometimes I feel like the tool is just a cover up. Yeah, that I'm not actually taking care of the problem. That's so good. That's so good. Anybody else feel like that? And here's the thing. Sometimes it's just a pause. Sometimes that problem, instead of reacting to it, which is where we start losing our power, we just get to go, you know what? I need 5 minutes. If my husband and I start to get heated with each other, like, I don't want to be that person with him anymore. I've committed, in fact, not to be that person with him anymore. So sometimes I got to go, look, I love you, and I get to step away right now for 5-10 minutes. I'll be back in 10 minutes. We can talk about this tonight. We'll finish this up tomorrow morning. Whatever it is that I need in that moment. Sometimes I'm upset. I almost refuse to do the things that will help. Yeah, we're powerful. Like, just like we can create anything that we want. Sometimes we create our comfort. So Megan, I call that comfort. Like, you get to choose courage over comfort. Anybody read Brene Brown? If you've not discovered Brene Brown, go discover her. Look her up on YouTube. She's got amazing videos out there, but she talks a lot about courage over comfort. However you've been doing things in your life up until now is your comfort zone. Stephanie, I love that you remembered PBJ. Yeah, pull out PBJ, pause. Don't react. Pause. Just pause and breathe. Don't react. I need 5 minutes so that I don't react. You can say those words to somebody. Hey, Courtney, I need to go take 10 minutes because I don't want to react right now. I love you. And we get to address this in 10 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever it looks like. Not sure why I do it, but it's something I've been working on. Yeah. So again, that awareness. If we're aware, now we can start practicing new ways of being. We can start showing up in a different way. We can start being prepared for the action versus playing defense and reacting, right? Anybody good at that? I'm really good at reaction. Ask my daughter. Courtney will look at her stone face. She's like, like, really good at reaction. I will react. And when I react, I leave a path of destruction. And I wasn't aware of that until way too late in my life. But when I would react, I would leave a path of destruction. So when I can practice PBJ, when I can practice, whoa, dude, you're going to react right now. Pull a tool out, go take 5 minutes. Whoa, I feel it coming up. I'm not going to let that happen. Like, that's you leading yourself. That's you being the best leader of yourself, because I'm not going to allow that reaction to come out. Sometimes when you're upset, yeah. So I love that the PB&J is pause, breathe, and choose joy. So how that looks in my head Yeah, sometimes you feel mad and that makes me ugly as a person. Yeah. But that's not you, Kelly. Like, know that you're one of the most beautiful people I know. I'm looking straight in the eye at you. I love you. I love the shit out of you. You're amazing. But guess what? Sometimes our reactions are ugly. Sometimes our reactions leave a path of destruction. So in that, like, okay, PBJ, here's what happens with my internal dialogue when I use PBJ, right? So I'm having a conversation, like, oh my God, did he really say that? Oh my God, and then all of a sudden I'm getting worked up inside and I can feel the reaction coming. Like I can feel like I'm going in, I feel it coming. Okay, pause, Tina, pause. Pause, Tina, pause. And breathe. And I just, like you take a couple deep breaths. And I want you to practice that right now. Like right now, take a big deep breath until you can't even handle it anymore. And just let it out. Don't you just feel better just doing that? Like sometimes I just feel better just knowing that I took a breath. And in that breath, when I'm letting it out, I'm like, okay, choose joy. Choose joy. What does that mean? What does choosing joy mean right now? What does choosing joy mean right now? It means I'm not going to react. Good. Okay. Okay. You're not going to react. Nope. I need 10 minutes. Great. Okay. Or I can come back with a question or I can do whatever. But when I pause versus react, it's the magic. It's a magic tool and it really supports because you don't go into that heated space. And it's a constant, Stephanie, work in progress. It's a constant work in progress. Still to this day, I find myself doing it because guess what? If you're reactionary, that's your personality. Like that's part of my personality. When anybody do like Myers-Briggs, I know that people in HCL have done the HCL promoter controller stuff. Like there's all kinds of personality traits out there, personality assessments out there. And underneath the covers, underneath it all, they're kind of the same, right? We have about 4 different ways that we act and behave and show up in, and some are natural and some are not natural. So again, as you go down this transformation path, it's about learning what tools to bring out in the right moment. And the only way to do that is practice. So what I want to do before we go on to Rima is I want you to commit, right? I want you to commit to one little thing. So if you think about your life right now, your reactions, your state of joy. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how much time do you spend in suffering, which is a 1, right? That's when we're playing victim. That's when we feel sorry for ourselves. It's when we're mad. It's when we let other people have our power versus a 10 means no, I spend all my time in joy. And that doesn't always mean that everything's perfect. Like I want to make that crystal clear. My life is not perfect right now. And I still choose to live in joy. I still choose to stay at that 10. And when I'm not at that 10, I find a tool to get me to that 10. So answer super honestly. You can answer it on your paper. You don't have to be public with this. You don't have to put it in chat, but I want you to really self-assess where you fall in that spectrum because that's the work. So if today you're a 2, you're like, great, what do I get to do to start practicing this? If you're anything actually, hey, Molly, if you're anything under an 8 or a 9, actually, right? Like, what do I get to do to start intentionally practicing this on a daily basis? And I'm going to give you one tool that will support you before we go to Rima, that will support you if you're like, I don't even know where to begin. And this is exactly how I began because the very first time I meditated, and even the first time I did yoga, I was like, what is this? Like, how am I supposed to keep my mind quiet? Like, I had no clue. Like, I thought yoga was stupid. I thought meditation was ridiculous. Like, what am I even doing right now? It took practice. It took practice. So thank you, Rima. Yeah. So, call it a heads and tails meeting with yourself. So in the morning, when your eyes wake up in the morning, you get to be super intentional about how you're going to show up that day. Today, my intention is to create this. So if I know that I'm going to go flying in to see Courtney, like today, my intention is to create love and joy and collaboration. If I know that I'm going home to do some work, my intention, or if I'm going to be doing work that day, right? My intention is to create transformation. My intention is to create connection with my clients. So when you wake up in the morning and you spend about 5 minutes with yourself, setting your intention for how you want your day to go, your day's probably going to go a lot better than it maybe would have if you wouldn't have had that intention. And then at the end of the night, you check in with yourself. That's the tails meeting. Okay, how'd I do today? Did I stay in my power today? Did I lose my shit today? Right? Like, how'd I do? Do a check-in with yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. How'd I do today? Okay, I did 7. Okay, great. How am I going to be an 8 tomorrow? How am I going to be a 9 tomorrow? So just start getting really intentional about understanding how you're showing up. And that heads and tails meeting, 5 minutes in the morning, call it meditation, call it prayer, call it setting intentions. I don't care what you call it. It's 5 minutes with yourself, without the distractions, without the noise, without anybody telling you who you should be or what you should be doing or what you're supposed to create. It's all noise. It's all noise. So 5 minutes in the morning, what am I creating today? 5 minutes at night, how did I do? And as you're thinking about how you did, how would I do that different the next time? Right? Like I had this conversation with this person. It went better than it normally does, but it still went wonky. Okay, great. What was missing? And you like really start to get intentional about what's working and what's not working on a daily basis so that you can practice. It's all about practice. Sound good? Everybody committed to that 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night? I promise you it will make a difference in how you're showing up. For sure. All right. Any questions? Any comments on that? Everybody feeling good about that? Heads and tails, I call it. 5 minute heads and tails meeting a day. Okay, great. So I would love, hi Kate. Kate came in while we were talking there. Here's what I would love to do. I would love to bring Rima up. Rima flowers. Rima is a flower. She's a beautiful, lovely flower. And she has been literally boots on ground for those of you who have just joined us a little bit ago. She's literally been boots on ground in Maui. Last time we had Burnout to Bliss, she brought a couple of people and they talked about stories and stuff like that. And there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot, I went camping this weekend and my family's talking about conspiracy theories in Maui. And I'm like, can I say something? So Rima's here to talk to us about what's going on in Maui and to let us know how we can support not only her, but the community as a whole, and then just to answer any questions that we might have. So I am going to hand it over to you, lovely Rima.
Woo woo. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on again. I love being here. And Courtney, just listening to you talking about the chickens and the goats potentially, but listening to you talk about like the earth and the ground and the healing, and I feel like that's what's going on here, starting to go on here on like the local ground level. So yes, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there and whatever, and I think a lot of us here on the ground are like, okay, what are we being distracted from? Like bottom line, there's people without homes and without things that they need, and that's what we get to take care of, and all the other stuff is just really noise. There's a lot of noise going on. And so so that's where it is here in Maui. There's still people there's still devastation. There's still people without homes. There's still, I've been to the Lahaina area. They won't let you down into, I've not been to like down the Front Street and things like that, but I've been to Lahaina, and there's just a feeling of let's see, I don't know. There's still sadness. There's sadness. And people are mostly concerned for like the land and the home of Maui. And there's still like service that gets to go on. And I think part of the sadness is that there's been such devastation. And then like local people stepped in, people on the ground. It was like, it took like a day, I think, for people to like be like, oh my gosh, what happened? And then we were all in action. And I think the action helped us to process the emotions that we were feeling. And right now, there's a lot of people still in action. But the other thing that's coming up is business. There's not like, it was like, okay, tourists, visitors on the island, we need to get you off the island so we can sort through and see what's going on. But I guess people are feeling like there was not but come back. We don't want you to go forever, but so just like move over for a second, let us see what's going on, but come back. And so there's a lot of I belong to a lot of Facebook groups, and I listen to the chats that are going on in there. I participate in the chats that are going on in there. You know, what's going on is that we need an influx of support and business and money, and that's what's needed. That's what's going on right now. That's what's going on. We're sitting back and starting to see what is needed. And the other thing that's coming to light, I think like when there's and this is me personally, when there's like a fire or something like that, that's devastation. There's some sort of collective, there's something that gets to be revealed, because fire clears away things. Think about like the, you know, ceremonial, and Courtney, you know, probably it can relate to this. When there's ceremony, when there's full moon, because we just had a full moon, when there's ceremony, you write down what you're going to let go of and you burn it, right? Fire is cleansing, it's taking away. Like there were things here that there gets to be light shown upon. And I think that this devastation is part of that. There gets to be light shined upon. There's like, you know, processes that get to be revamped, you know, overall. And there were things that so I think that this is where we are now. The dust is quite literally settling, the smoke is clearing, and it's like, okay, where do we go now? So in a nutshell, that's what's going on. So there's still rescue efforts, there's still people collecting, there's still donations, there's still all kinds of things going on, and we're starting to see, oh, this is not working, this is broken, this is a process, this gets to, you know, go on. Even the tourists come back, visitors come back, because before this, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, it was like, oh my gosh, there's so many people here, go away. But the infrastructure is built on that. So one of the things,
that's the economy, right?
yeah, the infrastructure is built on that. Like the hotels in well, past Lahaina, Wailea, there's, you know, a whole resort area up there that's pretty much closed, and it was like a high-end resort area there. Most of those places are closed right now because they're housing the unhoused. And so what's happening is they may be getting, or saying that they're getting paid from FEMA. I don't know if checks have actually gone out to anyone. But they're starting to lay off. They're starting to lay off workers because they just can't, they don't have the economy coming in, the financial. So now we're seeing a whole new group of people who are without jobs. And so maybe they're coming here to Kihei, and they're coming to other places, or maybe they're leaving the island altogether to look for work. So it's very pandemic feeling here.
And I know that you have a yoga studio there, and I know that you guys talk about kind of some of the things that you guys are offering the residents there, because I thought that was super beautiful.
Oh, awesome. Yes, I own a yoga studio. And so we have regular classes going on, and several of our teachers are offering meditation, sound healing, sound baths, massages. They're offering them for free. Like the meditation classes, the sound baths, we just need healing all over. So they're offering those workshops for free. If for like our regular classes, if you're a first responder, or if you come and say you lived in Lahaina, like we're really not turning away anyone now. And we're trying to figure it out because, you know, like rent still gets to be paid, and the utilities still get to be paid, and our teachers still get to be paid. And we are all figuring it out. And I feel like as I talk to, because I'm fortunate enough I own one studio, and then I teach at another studio. So I get the benefit of talking to those owners as well, and different owners. I got a call from another lady that teaches sound baths and healing and whatever at a studio here in Wailea. She wants to teach at my studio, so she invited me to her class to check that out. She's like, I just want to make it a donation class, like come and donate what you can or not. So I mean, like there's a collective, the light workers on the island kind of know, like this is our time. This is our time, you know, to step up. But financially, we get to figure it out.
Yeah, I want you to talk a little bit more about the light and the dark, because I like grabbed onto that because clearing, right? There's this massive clearing. That clearing offers new opportunities and new growth and all that kind of stuff. And that's all light. And so
Yep.
the dark is holding that back a little bit. So I'd love for you to just expand a little bit more on that.
Oh, happily.
Because
So
that happens all the time, right?
yeah,
Right.
absolutely. But yeah, the bringing the light and clearing away, and what gets to we get to look at it like what gets to be cleared away. It's not just the sadness. I was at the beach with some friends yesterday, and the 16-year-old son was like, we went to Lahaina and we went to one of the beaches up there, and he's like, I couldn't enjoy myself. I didn't feel like I should be having fun. I felt guilty. This guy's 16, and he's already like, I feel like I should feel guilty. And so, he and I talked about like, what feelings were coming up and why he felt like he should feel guilty. And he's like, people are suffering all around me, and it feels bad for me to feel good. And I was like, what a big conversation to have with a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
That's a big,
Yeah.
those are, I'm sure there's so many people that are feeling that. And, so we talked about it, and I was like, if when we bring this energy, and I call it light energy, but we bring this different type of energy, this is where how we can heal. Because if we stay in this dark energy, or if we stay in this low energy, then we can't really support anyone, because we need help. It's the mask on first. I get it. Yes, it is all of that. And so he got to see a different perspective, or just kind of giving him food for thought. But yeah, the light workers on the island, I don't get a lot of, there's sadness and there is concern, but I'm not feeling a lot of people are worried or people are down and not getting up. I feel like people are looking for, what do I do next? Where do I go next? Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming
And so there's a
together
couple of
as one
questions.
community.
Yeah, there's a couple of questions, Rima, in the chat
Okay.
about how we can support the yoga studio. And then Stephanie asked about, any type of a plan for housing from the city, state, or feds.
Supporting the yoga studio, and as with any small business, like supporting the yoga studio. So we did this special. So we're doing like little specials where it's like buy I don't even remember what it is right now, because I think we just changed it. But buy 2 classes for $20. Because we figure like if we put a price point out there that's like $20, and people can buy 5 of those, give them away. Give them to people that can't afford to even get, a class for $20. That's 2, grab someone and bring them with you for $20 for 2 classes. So, so that's one of the things that we are doing. So like, it's like, okay, and that special specifically is for our friends and family, you guys on the mainland that are not here, that want to do something, that you can say, hey, I'll, here's $100, and here's, I'll do a bundle of 5 classes, or a package of 5 of these, 2 classes for 20. Here's $100, and then we can give them away. So as the first responders come to the studio, or as I'm inviting Cherry. I'm still working with Cherry. You guys remember Cherry from last time if you were on. And Maricel, still working with them. Like, hey, you want to bring some people down and come to a class? I'm not going to ask them to, you're living in a hotel, right? I'm gonna, or I take it with them. This one woman, Bree, and I were like, let's just go down. Let's just start to meditate. Let's just go to a place and just, she has her bowls, and we were just like, people came and sat and whatever, and she just played, and it was just, let's just give.
Yeah.
So
And that's where I was going, Rima, with the light worker stuff, right?
Okay.
Like I think a lot of the times we don't give enough, credit's not the right word, but like there's impact there, right? When you've got a whole community that is devastated, like Maui is, and now you've got the light workers who are offering the things that we know will heal people. Everybody might not get that that's what's going to heal you, but we know that yoga heals. We know that meditation heals. We know that your space heals. And so for you guys to be offering that, I think that's absolutely beautiful. So know that I am sending you $100 as soon as we hang up to
No.
buy 5.
You're amazing, absolutely amazing. Thank you, Tina. You are always there for support, and I absolutely love that. And then there was another question: is there type of plan for housing help from? Yes, there's several things out there, and I know that there's several funds and collections and things. I don't know if those are being distributed as yet, but I know there's several funds out there. I know Oprah and The Rock started one
Saw that.
called For the People. I saw that. So there's several things out there. They flew over a bunch of the tiny houses, what do you call those, containers? And so they're going to start to fabricate these tiny homes here for like the immediate need, like people need to like live somewhere other than a hotel, for a while. So they're starting to do that. So those arrived the other day on some big jet and whatever, and so they're gonna start to fabricate that. So there are plans in place. There are things that are
Amazing.
starting to happen. It gets to get down to the nitty gritty level. I guess we haven't seen yet, but yeah, there's plans out there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, does anybody have any questions for Rima? Any comments or anything like that? Yeah, I agree, Courtney. I mean, I want to acknowledge you, Rima, for being a light worker. Yes, I have you on here to talk about what's happening in Maui, but here's the bigger reason, so that we can take care of you. Because being a light worker, right? The light workers get to have people that take care of them as well.
Yep.
And so I acknowledge you for everything that you're doing. I acknowledge you for just constantly pouring into people and being the boots on ground in Maui that's really gonna make a difference in Maui. So amazing.
Thank you. And I thank you for talking about the modalities also earlier, because that's something that, my yoga teachers and we all talk amongst ourselves, like, what are you doing? And what are you doing? Kind of looking after one another. I was sitting with my business partner at the beach yesterday, and the same thing came up. She's sitting next to me and she's like, I just admire you. You're just sitting here, looking at the sunset, and we just have so much to do. And it's in my mind, and like, we have emails to send out, and we've got to do this, and we got to, because the rent, and and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Breathe, PBJ.
Because, like that can, like she's starting to trigger me. Like, I'm like, yeah. I didn't get, right? It's not like we don't sit and watch the sunset, or, Tina doesn't sit and do a meditation because she got shit else to do. Like, right? Like, we don't, I'll just take a bath because I've got nothing else. Like, we feel it as well, but this is why we step into these modalities. This is why we choose to meditate, because I'm like, I gotta, in order for me to serve, if I'm like, I'm not serving anyone.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So knowing that, and, again, it's that whole thing of, yes, you are a light worker and you know how to recharge and reset, and, when you're in that space, but you also get to have people that are supporting and surrounding you with love. So know that we are here for you, there for you. You know that my phone's always open 24/7 for you.
Oh, you're the best. You're the best. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. These kind of conversations and being able to talk about it and see like where I go next, and this helps. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that we went down the whole light and dark path, right? Because what we're doing here, even talking about the Heal Retreat.
I was going to say that. Yes, even talking about the retreat and Courtney, what you're doing, that's healing for the entire planet.
Yeah. So when we make the decision to heal ourselves, and I'm going to say that again, when we choose to heal ourselves, we literally heal everyone around us. Like, I want you guys to really soak that in. When you choose to heal yourself, in the process of that, there's a ripple effect. Courtney, I think, can agree to that ripple effect. Courtney and I, and our relationship wasn't even, we were always close, but it was a toxic close, right? When I chose to start healing myself is when I got my daughter back, right? Like, and it was only because I chose to heal myself, because I chose to focus on the light instead of starting and continuing to focus on the dark. So if you were, what percent of time are you focused on the dark versus focused on the light? It was a big question for me that I got asked once, and I was like, oh, I am spending way too much of my time thinking about the dark stuff. And the dark stuff is all the stuff we can't control, right? The dark stuff is all the people pleasing. The dark stuff is all the things that people tell you can or can't do. The dark stuff is that itty bitty shitty committee inside your head that's telling you can't, when I'm telling you that you can, right? And it's a choice. So I love that we talked about the heads and tails meeting. If you're new to this kind of work, if you're new to the Burnout to Bliss space, if you're new to any of us, whatever that looks like, that heads and tails meeting is a way for you to just really start taking stock of how am I showing up? Like, am I showing up in the light, or am I showing up in the dark? I showed up in the dark my whole life until I was 48 years old. And I don't have blame or shame around that anymore. What I was able to do is finally let it go. Like, it gets to go. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me when I show up in the dark. It doesn't. When I show up in the light, not only do I feel better, but I have this ripple effect all the way down. So today is really about taking stock of, are you showing up in the light, or are you showing up in the dark? And if you're showing up in the dark more than you're showing up in the light, it's just being aware of it. Okay, great. How do I show up there are 5 minutes in the morning. How do I show up in the light today? Maybe your intention for the first 3 weeks you practice heads and tails is, I'm going to show up in the light today. I'm going to show up in the light today. I'm going to show up in the light today. And then as you do that, you start to practice the new ways of being that are going to start working for you, and it'll start making you feel more joyful. So I love that we had this conversation today. We are always here. There's lots of coaches on here. Courtney and I are moving forward with our Heal Retreat, October 5th through the 8th. Please call us if you want any more information on that. What I heard you say, Rima, is that we all should book vacations to Maui immediately. That's what I heard you say. So
yes, if there was a time, if you were ever thinking about coming to Maui, like, this is the time. Even the airlines are cooperating. There's specials. There's also, like, there's one small city that you don't want to go to. Respect the people, let the grieving and everything, and the rest of the island is completely open and ready. There's no lines.
amazing.
Anywhere. This is the time. So if you ever had it on your bucket list, the universe is responding and saying, hey, you know what? You owe it to yourself. Yes. You want to help people? Go to Maui and have a vacation.
Yeah. And I can see where people would be like, oh, that just happened in Maui. They won't be ready. And so people just probably aren't booking, right? Or going there.
Yep,
Well, now's the time.
I see that. Yep.
Yes, I love that, Courtney. Light workers unite.
Workers unite. Yes,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And that's where you start to build the community too, right? Like, you start surrounding yourself with people who are spending their time in the light. Who would you rather surround yourself with? People spending their time in the light, or people spending their time in the dark? So, yeah. Any questions? Any comments? Any last thoughts before we say goodbye?
Come to Maui. I feel like I needed, needs to be like a convention or something, like events here. Maybe I still need to put on my retreat, but
I think that we get to have a retreat that's called Light Workers Unite.
Right? I'm digging the Light Workers Unite, but I need to hold a retreat and have people come so they can stay in the Airbnbs and rent the trucks. Oh my gosh, you go to the airport. I've never even seen this. The airport is simply a parking lot right now, because all of the major car companies, the Budget, the Hertz, no one's renting the cars, and so they've never had to park them, and they're all over the airport. It's crazy. And so yes, come to Maui, rent some things, stay in the Airbnb, go to restaurants. Yep.
Tanya sold in chat. Here's what I want to close us off with. There's a lot of dark in the world right now. Everybody agree with that? There's a lot of dark. I believe that we are all here right now, even if it's your first time here. I believe that we're all here right now because we get to bring light to the world. We can let it stay dark, or we can bring our light into the world. And when we bring our light into the world, it means we leave all the darkness behind. And it's an amazing, beautiful journey to be able to do that. So as you leave this call, like a really great power question is, how do I bring light today? How do I bring the light? How do I bring the light today? Even in a moment, in those moments, right? In those moments when like, I want to choke you right now. Nope. How do I bring the light right now? How do I bring the light? How do I bring the light? And honestly, sometimes bringing the light is taking yourself out of the situation. It's okay to do that. If you're in a situation where it's super dark and you're, so that's what we get to focus on until we meet next time, is how do I bring the light? How do I bring the light right now to this moment, to this day, to this month, to my family, to my work, to my team, to my relationships? How do I bring the light? And when you start focusing on the light, like, you can't be in joy and suffering at the same time. You just can't. That's why it's a choice, right? So we get to choose the light. We get to choose joy versus choosing to stay in the dark, versus choosing to stay in the burnout, versus choosing to stay, I'm stuck. So that's what this space is all about, is providing the tools and all that kind of stuff to be able to do that. So thank you, everyone, for choosing to be here. It's Tuesday after a long holiday. You could have been a million other places and you chose to be here for you. So I honor you for that, and I acknowledge you for that. And yeah, Kelly and Stephanie, I will be talking to you in the next week and scheduling some time to meet with you guys. So any other questions, anything else before we say goodbye? I know I walk away from these things lit up every time we meet, because I just love watching your faces and us being together. And yeah, that's what it's for. So go forward today, go create magic, go create joy, and go create light. Sound good? All right, everyone. Bye. See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.